Hi and welcome back to my channel. I'm Tony and I'm building another 1/6 scale full metal tank from Armortek. This time it is the Jagdpanzer 38, or sometimes referred to as the Hetzer. In the last session we built the track, or we built most of the track. I did one side. I had already previously started a small section of the other side, and then I test fitted it onto the tank. So since then I've finished both sets of tracks now. I've also gone ahead and built the few accessories, or there's some spares that go on to the tank itself. There's two sets of 3 and a set of 6. I haven't used the split pins in these. I've literally just put the pins in, or the track pins in, and I've just glued them at the end here. I don't think you need to do the split pins on those. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get these painted. So I'm going to get I'll put down a sheet in my workshop. We'll get these painted, get a coat of dark grey onto them. I'm not going to prime them. I don't know if you saw my previous videos for the Tiger and the M26. I literally just gave them a sort of a wash coat of this sort of anthracite grey, and once the tracks start sort of hitting the ground and start sort of getting some wear on them, I think they look pretty smart and they look pretty close to what I believe would be the real thing. So what I'll do in a moment, I'll get a sheet out and we'll put the tracks down and we'll give them a coat of paint, and then we're going to install them onto the tank, hopefully for the very last time. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some power onto the drive motors, and we're going to test the tracks to make sure they're functioning correctly. In the event they're not, then I have to take off the front glasses plate and do whatever I need to do to make it work. I really hope that's not going to be the case. I really hope that I can get this working first time. So anyway, we'll get cracking. I'll change the camera position and I'll get in and we'll do some painting of these tracks. Right, so I'm about to get started. So all I've done is I've just got a bit of a protective sheet down on my workshop floor. I've got my track, which I'm now going to just lay out so the face of the track is face down on top of the protective sheet, like so. And the other one, do the same. Just enough room to I don't want to overspray onto my garage floor, so probably just push that along ever so slightly. As you can see, when it's laid out, it's quite a long piece of track. And then what we mustn't do is we mustn't forget to paint the spare tracks that have been assembled. And then you have what's left over in this particular kit is 4 individual links, so they're going to need to be painted just in case I break a link further down the line. I know they've already got paint on it. So really what remains to be seen now is remains to be done, sorry, is just put some gloves on. I'm not going to put a mask on because this I'm not painting excessive painting, I'm not priming or anything like that. I'm going over directly with the top coat and just a wash coat, and it'll dry pretty quickly. I've got the heating on now in my workshop, and so this shouldn't take too long at all. So I've got just an anthracite dark grey can spray. I've already given it a really good shake previously. Now, just a matter of just spray a little bit on my protective sheet, and now it's just a matter of just getting a reasonably sort of tell you what I will do, just to come out of camera shot for a minute. Just need something to wipe the nozzle of the paint can, because it does tend to drip. So just getting a sort of a minor wash coat I'm about 12 inches away from the target. There. I'll get closer in a moment. And I'll just give this a bit of a wash coat first, and then I'll turn them over and we'll paint them the other side. Don't worry too much about getting a reasonable cover on this. Right, so I've zoomed the camera out a little bit because I didn't realise that you couldn't see the extent of the full track, but now you can. It's had its first sort of mist coat, if you like. Now I'm going to go ahead and give it another coat of paint. Let me just go and get my wipey raggy thing. And you'll start seeing this starting to change. So I'm just going to get a little bit closer this time. The idea is you really don't want too much paint on this. You just want it to look like a bit of a wash coat. Obviously this is the inside of the track, so what will happen is this will wear completely once it's running around the the main sprocket and the wheels. And just to get a suggestion of a sort of, I'm trying to go for like a dark gunmetal colour. And then of course what happens once this starts engaging with the road surface, the paint will wear off everywhere the tracks engage with the hard surface, and obviously when you turn, and then all the paint within that doesn't touch the road surface then sort of remains. So you get this really nice almost sort of multicoloured or patina on the tracks, and I think it looks pretty smart. Okay, I'm not saying this is the right way to do it or the wrong way to do it, this is just how I'm doing it. So I'm just going to give that one more bit more paint on that. I like the fact that the aluminium is still bleeding through. I do have a door open just in case any of you are going, we should ventilate the space. So it is ventilated, but I'm not, as I said, I'm not doing any sort of excessive spraying. So they're almost ready to go. So what I'll do now is I'll just wait for that to dry. I'll spin them over and then we'll go again. Right, so everything's dry. I've now turned them over so that we can get a coat of paint on this side. So as before, just want to build it up. Over a couple of coats. And we go into the spare parts. Said don't worry too much about getting a complete coverage on this. You just want it looking, you want a little bit of that sort of aluminium to bleed through. In a moment what we'll do is we'll go along and we'll spray the pins. I don't want those shiny. I said this is a dark grey anthracite, which is what I found worked best on the Tiger and on the M26. So we'll let that dry and we'll come back and give it its final coat. Right, so I'll just turn them on their edge so that I can just get a bit of paint on the pins. I don't want those shiny. Again, I'm not covering them, I'm not getting them completely covered in paint. Just want to hit them just to take the gloss or the shiny part of it away. Just do that on that one, and I'm not going to wait for that to dry. I'm just going to flip these over so we can do the other side. Again, I'm not that concerned if I wipe a bit of the paint off. It really doesn't matter at this stage. And then we do that. We'll let them dry and then hopefully get them onto the tank. Almost done. I decided I was going to film this because I think previously I've just either just done this away from camera or I've done it as part of the sort of time lapse. But I think I've had a couple of people ask me the best way to paint the track, so I thought instead of me answering in words, I'd show you. So hopefully this is of interest. So that's it. That's as far as I'm going to go. We don't need to paint them anymore. We've got enough paint on these now to make them look as if they are a little bit more like the steel tracks as they would be. And as I said, once this starts driving in contact with the ground, it's going to look exactly as it should do. So now I'm going to let these dry and then we'll put them onto the tank and then take it to the next level. Right, so we're going to go now and fit the track, hopefully this time for the final time on this side, and it's a bit of a rerun of what we did previously, but this time I'm going to bring the track around a little bit further so I'll clear the drive case and hopefully be able to get a better way of connecting the pin in from the back. So as before, I'm just going to use the idler wheel and this top wheel here just to help me guide the track into position. And what we need to do is make sure that the teeth of the track are inside the sprocket, and then we just feed that through using our fingers. It's a little bit awkward, but again, patience as always is a virtue building these models. I think probably one more, that should about do it. I think actually one back. It's a fine balance of being able to act. I think that'll do it, and that should come up and meet that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pop a pin in this side just to stop that from trying to get it aligned. So get a pin in this side, there we go, and that's just there temporary while it stops me having to worry about it falling out of position. And now I've got to try and get the pin in from the back. There we go, and that'll just push that pin out, and that's my pin presented in the right orientation for me to get a split pin in. I'm just going to use my pliers just to run that round so I can see what I'm doing. Let me see if I can zoom in now. Just see if I can zoom in and move the camera. Too much. So that is the pin that we're targeting here. I'll move the camera a little bit more so you can see that. What we've got to try and do is get the split pin in now through that. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to present it from underneath. It's going to make my life a little bit easier. And then just holding that, start the bending process. That starts the bending process off. Trim those. And use my pliers to bend them round into position. Always awkward when the camera's on, of course. Even more awkward when it's elevated on the tank, but it'd be worse if you try and do that. That's got that. So that's that. So now what we do is we'll go on and do the other side. Right. So now ready for this side. So we're going to do exactly the same process as before. Just unwind that a little bit. Sort of feed using the idler wheel, and then what we've got to try and do is just try and feed that through ever so gently. It's actually going through nice and easy actually. Just want to get it around as far as I did on the other side, so it makes life easy trying to get the pin in. A bit more. I think that probably one more, and then that's it. So what I'll do now is I'll move this out of the way, and I'm going to spin this around so that makes my life a little bit easier, but also that you can hopefully see what we're trying to achieve. So I think that's going to be fine. So again, what we'll do is we'll put a temporary pin in this side. Let me move that a little bit for you. Now don't forget, we haven't put any tension on this track whatsoever. So just lining that up. See if we can get a pin in just to hold it like that, and that allows me then to try and access the back to put the pin in from behind. So I'm just going to spin this around so I can see if I can get this. Use my big head. See if I can get this pin to come through. Just pull those together. That's it. So we move that back. Now what we should find is that pin just pops that out. That's presented exactly where we want it. So I'm just gonna, I was just looking for my pliers then. Just line that up, move that around so it's easy to pop the split pin in. It's here somewhere. There it is. And again, just had a little visitor in my workshop, and just going to look for my pliers to be straight back. Pliers found. No hassle. I'm going to try and do it the other way around, see if it's any easier. So I'm just using this sharp, what I call my pointy tool. Just to start the bending process off. I nearly had it. That's it. Just bend that up as far as I can get it. Spin it around for you. Just trimming these parts off because it just makes life a little bit easier when you come to bend them. It's awkward enough when you're doing it on your bench, let alone when the tank is elevated. Anyway, that's that. Just need to bend that in a bit more. So that's that. So now, as you can see, there's a lot of slack in that. So what we'll do is we'll take my extension bar tool I used before. It's a slightly longer one. Pop that on there. Let me just get round and see if you can see what I'm doing. Let's move the camera a little bit. So I'm just coming in fact what I'll do is I'll turn this so hopefully you can see what happens when we tighten up. So I don't know if you can see that, it's starting to throw the wheel back. I can see it, I don't know if you can pick that up on the camera, but this wheel's now just tightening that up. That's on its full tension. It's about the same as the other side, and of course when this is down on the bench we'll get a better view of that. So that's it. So that is both tracks fitted. I guess the next stage is to power them up, but before I do that there is a few more accessories that go on this side, and I'll probably do those after I've tested the tracks. So the next part for this would be to put some power in the tracks or into the drive motors and see how the tracks perform. So what I'll do is I'll just get myself ready and I'll be back to camera shortly. Right, so a slight plan change. Not going to be able to get some power into the tank today because the two batteries that I've ordered and are now arrived for the tank are the smaller or the shallower batteries because of the restrictions and the challenges of the geometry and the lack of space inside the tank. Armortek recommend these smaller batteries. The only problem with those is they only come with spade fixings or fittings, battery terminals or F2 battery terminals. Not a problem, it just means that I've got to adapt these and I'll show you that in my next session, so I can connect all of the cabling that Armortek send and also my charging cables, which are designed to be on or screwed into the top of a terminal. I've come up with an idea, and in my next session I'll show you what I'm going to do to get around that. And then once we've got these sorted out, we can get some power onto the drive motors and test the tracks for the first time. And hopefully if everything goes well, I shall be in a position where the tracks can stay on the tank, and we can then go on and start finishing some of the detail on the side of the tank and then go on. There's a lot more, there's quite a few accessories that need to be cleaned up, painted, and or ahead of installing on the tank. So we still have a way to go on this. So that's it for today, and I just want to say thank you for joining me. If you've liked this film, please give me a thumbs up. If you've just joined my channel, please subscribe. There's a ton of work coming up and I've got lots to do. I just want to say again, thanks for all your support, all your amazing comments. It just, you know, it's brilliant. I love the interaction with you guys. I'm learning as well because some expert builders out there that are really helping me through this, and so I'll just leave off by saying I'm Tony. I'm thoroughly enjoying building this tank. Hope you're enjoying the journey with me. I can't wait for my next session. I'll see you soon.